I think it is safe to say that in no generation has the task of parenting teenagers been more perplexing than at the present time. The plethora of teenage violence is no longer limited to the fictional world of the movies, but is a regular part of the evening news. Reports of teens killing teens, parents, and sometimes themselves have become commonplace. The fact that such behavior is no longer limited to the impoverished areas of our major cities, but has come to permeate middle-class suburbia, has raised deep concern in the hearts of parents of all social classes. As I lead nationwide marriage seminars, many of the parents I meet are in a panic mode. This is especially true of parents who have discovered that their own teenager has a sexually transmitted disease, is pregnant, or has had an abortion. Some parents have discovered that their teenager is not only using drugs, but is a drug pusher in the local high school. Others are distraught when they get a call from the local police department saying that their teenager has been arrested and charged with possession of a firearm. For those parents, their overriding question comes not from a philosophical, detached, intellectual interest in today's social problems, but rather flows from deep pools of personal pain. What did we do wrong? We tried to be good parents. We've given them everything they wanted. How could they do this to themselves and to us? We just don't understand, they say. Having been a marriage and family counselor for the past 35 years, I am deeply sympathetic with these parents. I also feel great empathy for the thousands of parents whose teenagers are not involved in the destructive behavior noted above, but who live with the reality that if it happened to those teenagers, it could also happen to their teenagers. There is no simple answer to the unrest in the soul of the contemporary teenager. The reality is that today's teenager lives in a world unknown to his predecessors. It is a global world with satellite TV, the internet, and much more. Modern technology is exposing our teens to the best and worst of all human cultures. No longer does the homogeneous environment of the Deep South or the expansive Northwest exist. The ethnic boundaries of the Midwestern teenager are paper boundaries. Pluralism, the acceptance of many ideas and philosophies, with none being superior to the others, has replaced common beliefs and patterns as the wave of the future. Pluralism will remain, and its waters are much more difficult to navigate than commonality. No wonder many teenagers have lost their direction. It is my observation that never before have parents of teenagers felt so helpless. But it is also my opinion that never before have the parents of teenagers been so important. More than ever, teenagers need parents. All research indicates that the most significant influence on the life of the teenager comes from parents. It is only when parents become uninvolved that their role of guidance is replaced by the gang, the peer group, or the friend at school. I am deeply committed to the premise that the teenager's best interest is served when parents assume their role as loving leaders in the home. This book focuses on what I believe to be the most foundational building block of parent-teen relationships: love. I believe that love is the most important word in the English language and the most misunderstood word. It is my hope that this book will remove some of the confusion and help parents focus effectively on how to meet their teenagers' emotional need for love. I believe that if the need is met, it will profoundly affect the behavior of the teenager.